Nscaler 454 here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be working on my latest 3D design. This is a fluid transfer station in N-scale, and it is huge. 6.5 inches long. This weighs over 100 grams as it is. So we are going to cut it out of the supports, and we're going to see how it looks. As usual, I'm going to use my flush cut pliers just to try to minimize any chance of damage. And I'm going to take my time during this whole thing. Cut out the supports where I can. Give myself some room. Now to start, I'm going to paint all these I-beams a dark iron color from Tamiya XF84, and I'm going to mix that with Model Colors Gunmetal Gray. We'll see how that looks. I suspect I'm going to need quite a bit of this, so I think I'm going to need a whole lot of this as I put a whole lot in. And I'm going to mix it, or I'm going to thin it down a little bit. Oh boy, look how that has made the metallic react. Wow! I'm not looking for a perfect paint because we are going to be going over this whole coat with another color. Gotta say, this is going to take a while. Some of these areas are very difficult to get to, so a fine brush like this is really helpful. Now you're probably wondering why I'm okay with such a sloppy job. That's because I am going to now airbrush it with this aluminum color, and I'm going to focus on all the areas that I haven't painted, but I'm just going to let the overspray kind of coat the dark iron places that I already have. Is this going to work? Well, we'll see. So I taped off the areas that I don't want any paint. Right there, there. And now I can go ahead and airbrush it, which I'm going to be using the Model Air aluminum color. So this is the result. It's a little bit shinier than I expected, but there is some differences. Right here you can see this is all aluminum. And then right here, there is a difference in the shade. That dark iron underneath is showing through a little bit. And if you look at it from different angles, you can see there is some subtle differences. So not too bad. Now I'm going to paint the pipes and whatnot, and maybe the railings. And I think I'm going to do a concoction of the steel, the gunmetal gray, and the oily steel. We'll start with our oily steel. A little bit of the regular steel. Boy, that regular steel overpowers it quite a bit. I feel like I want to add a little bit of dark iron in it. I don't know how much, but we're going to add a little drop of it. Yes, that's better. The goal is to have a different color than the rest. The next thing to paint is the handrails right here. Now you could leave it silver or the same color that you have going on here or a different type of metallic, whatever. I think it'll look fine, but I wanted a little bit of contrast with what's going on right now. And yellow is the optimal choice. It will look good every single time. But I've done yellow before. I wanted something a little bit different. So I think I'm going to go with white. Tamiya's X2. Plus, because it is quite difficult to get in there to all the little spots, I think that if I make any mistakes or leave something bare, because of the silver and the metallic around it, it will somehow or somewhat hide that. So I think white's going to be a good choice. Here we go. Getting in some of these areas here is not as hard as you might think. It's not easy, but it's not that bad. For the back side of these inner railings, I'm going to use a very fine tip brush and just get where I can. If I can't reach it, I'm not going to worry all that much. Of course, can't forget the stairs. I added a couple of details like painting these edges yellow here and painting the control boxes gray, but now it's time to weather it. I'm mostly going to use the Vallejo Wash Black as well as their Dark Rust, and I may use a couple of variants of different rusty colors. We'll see, but the idea is just to kind of go light and add layers to it until I am happy with the result. We'll do the top. Lots of water. Don't be afraid of the water. I'm going to try to be a little bit more strategic with this. Just going to touch it in here. We're just trying to get some darkness between the lines here. It might be a little too much, actually. Too much water. If it's too much water, dry off a brush and just soak it up. It will come up. Right? If it's too much black, same deal. Just kind of like that. Maybe around a bit there. Keep in mind, it will not dry this dark. I can assure you that. The funny thing about washes, it's always going to look like, it's like, oh man, I overdid it. And then it dries, and then you think, I should have done more. While the black is drying, I'm going to add a little bit of the rust. Ooh, this is going to be... I gotta be very careful not to overdo this, though. I think now is a good time to wire it up for the lighting. Yes, I did try to paint the fire suppression lines and it didn't turn out very well, but good thing you're not going to see them. For the lights, I am using these super tiny LED miniature lights. There's 4 of them. I'll see if I can throw a link on Amazon for where I got them. But anyways, we'll see how this goes. Now I do have a channel that runs underneath. Hopefully it makes it relatively easy. A pair of tweezers I'm sure are going to be our friend today. Naturally, getting it up the channel here is going to be a bit difficult, but we will try. I might have a hook on something. I got a couple of them there. I got them all. So the hook wire is definitely the way to go. We'll dab a super glue in the pocket. We have the wiring all tucked in and out of the way, and it actually fits pretty good. For the hoses, I just used some wire that I had laying around. The unloading hoses that go below, they're 1.5 inches long. The fill hoses up top, they're 1/2 inch long, and I 3D designed and printed some little ends that you just glue on. And you can see they are slightly different. The cone-shaped ones, those go for the top filling, and then the other ones obviously go to the bottom. I do have these as packs of 8 that come with the kit, but I think I'm going to make these 10s because there's a very good chance you're going to lose 1 or 2 of them. We'll go ahead and install these. Now if you're using different colors like I am, just mirror it from one end to the other. So I'm going to do brown on the inside and orange on the outside. Now for the bottom hoses, you're going to want to have a shape like this, and you want the nozzle to be facing the inside. Okay, that was not the easiest to install, but hopefully they stay glued in place. We need to prepare this styrene, which is 60 thou thick, 1/2 inch wide, and this is what we're going to place our structure on. Our length is 6.5 inches. Now, we have to find dead center of these. Now one of these we are going to find the center of, which is 3.25, right there. And we're going to mark 0.27 because we need to make a hole for our wiring to go through. Our hole is 0.1 by 0.2. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be reasonably close. So it came down to the layout to build the base of the structure, which it is designed to sit on a 60 thou thick base. I have also added these flares to the side, which if you can see, I have cut out or notched that one side so it sits nice and flush against the track. You know, something like that. This is 40 thou thick styrene. It looks great. You know, you can see how that works. And the reason why I didn't glue this to the structure first is because I need to paint it. Good luck painting that with all those hoses in place. So I figured you have to paint this before you attach it to the structure itself. And then I got to thinking, do I even need to glue the structure to the base at all? And I don't think you do. You could technically glue your styrene or whatever base you have to your layout, and then you can pop this on and off anytime you want. And away you go. And I think for the time being, at least in the short term, I am going to do just that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you or talk about, which I haven't mentioned, is the stairs. I am going to be using stairs on both sides, right? One on the front, one on the back. But you could use a ladder if you so choose. And I got to figure out how to make that in the sale part of things, whatever you want. Do you want 2 stairs, 2 ladders, 1 stair, 1 ladder, whatever you want to do. I got to figure that out, but that is something I've designed in. And the reason for that is, let's say you wanted to double this up and put another one over there. Well, there's nothing that's going to be in between because the spacing has to be about that far apart, so your other one would go somewhere down there. In which case, I would probably have ladders on the ends of those ones in there. It's up to you. Now, speaking of spacing, I have designed this to work with different lengths of tanker cars. These are a GP20 from Rapido, 20,000 gallons, and those are a 33,000 gallon from Atlas. And you can see this is on the shorter end, and that's on the longer end. And then, of course, you have your 31,000 gallon that's kind of in the middle. And it will work pretty decently with any size tank car that you have. So we'll throw those in, right? And I'll just kind of show you how they line up. It's not bad. So it allows you to kind of work with whatever you have in your inventory. Well, that will do it for this one. I think it turned out amazing. This fluid transfer station really suits my layout, so I'm very happy with it. It will obviously be available on nscaler454.com. It's going to be going up with a couple of other things, so just keep an eye out for that. Let's test out the lights really quick. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.